Is the housing bubble bursting or maybe showing some cracks? In today's video, I will explore a surge in mortgage delinquencies and that these default rates is increasingly rapidly. The question is, are we going to see another 2008 market meltdown? Nobody knows, so let's dive into this video.
Almost every real estate broker is having conversations with home sellers about when you're going to mark this property down so we can get it to move.
Yep, that was Kelman, the CEO of Redfin, and in his video, he has something for the US housing that in this summer, we will see some softness in the housing market. So the question is, with the softness in market activity, low absorption of the homes, and the spike in delinquencies, what's next for this market? So let's take a look. This is what I have prepared for you today. So we have these whole things here, and let's just start with going to our neighboring friends of Canada, okay? It says that Canada has seen a huge increase when it comes to the mortgage delinquencies, okay? New data from Equifax Canada indicates that missed mortgage payments in Ontario are costing people more than ever before, with an economist warning the numbers seen in the province are not notably above those observed pre-pandemic numbers. Okay, that's very interesting. We're seeing some pre-pandemic numbers. In the first quarter of 2024, according to the credit bureau, the total mortgage balance is reaching a severe delinquency, which is about 90 days or more, surpassed the $1 billion for the first time. And you will say, well, Robert, has nothing to do with us in this economy. And I will say, probably you're right, it has really nothing to do with us. But let me tell you something. This can be a huge indicator of what is happening in this market. So this will have to keep an eye on this. So now we're going to go here to our local economy here in the United States, okay? So I'm gonna show you here right now a very interesting article. This is from Adam. US Foreclosure Activity sees a monthly increase in 2024. It says, Adam, a leading curator of land, property, and real estate data, today released in May of 2024 a foreclosure market report, which shows that there were a total of 32,621 units that are filing for foreclosure. So default notices, and this is repossessions, up 3% from the month ago, but 7% from a year ago. It says that New Jersey, Illinois, and Delaware post the highest foreclosure rates. Nationwide, in 1 in every 4,320 housing units has filed for foreclosure as of May of 2024. This is huge, guys. This can be a potential trouble down the road, and we just really have to be very careful with everything and how things are going to develop moving forward. So now let's take a look at the local economy here, local housing real estate, and it says that Redfin reports that 62% of homes listed are right now kind of like sitting on the market, meaning they have been on the market for over 30 days. And this is something that I came across here that's very interesting from these guys. It says that home prices are falling in 3 Texas metros and Portland, Oregon, as high rates cool demand for the former hotspot. Home sales prices are declining year over year in 4 major US metros. It's like Texas, Austin, minus 2.9, San Antonio, minus 1.2, Fort Worth, minus 1.2, and Portland, Oregon, almost 1%. So these are very like indicators. So nationwide, prices rose 4.4% from a year earlier to an all-time high during the 4 weeks ending of June 2nd. But there are early indicators that national prices growth could soften soon. 6.4% of US home sellers cut their asking price on average, the highest share since November 2022, and the typical active listing has been on the market for about 46 days. So these are really big indicators of what's happening right now right here. It says indicators of home buying demand and activity. So here's, it kind of gives you an idea where things are going to be moving forward. So if this is the tail of the spring market, what can we expect when it comes to the fall market? Do you think the fall market is going to be slightly different? It's going to be more, traditionally speaking, we've seen a very interesting way of working. So here is something very interesting about the market. This is the timing of the market right now. And as you can see right now, this is in our local area here, Montgomery County. As you can see, once we come to the 4th of July, definitely there will be an inventory increase or staying typical of where it needs to be, but you also will see a very high decrease in buyer demand. So with at about 1,100 homes that we have here right now in this area, I can only imagine things are going to get a little bit tricky for some sellers, especially those sellers that are hiring real estate professionals that don't have that knowledge about how to price a house when there could be a potential shift in the marketplace. A lot of real estate agents got their license back in 2020, and that was something that it was easy to sell real estate. They came in but have no clue how to price a house in a downturn market. So be mindful to interview professionals if you're thinking about selling your house this year, especially in the coming months. Let's take a look at the costs of this softening in the area, because the problem is, as I said, sellers are going to be pricing homes according to the path that we've seen, which is that it's an upwards path. Like people think like how prices are going to continue to go up and up and down. The reality, it is not the case. Prices may not continue to go up because it's going to be a big change when it comes to the marketplace. So these graphs here from Redfin, from the same article, are kind of showing you where things are. And you see, typically speaking, right here, you see the peak of the market regardless of what year it has been. And then you kind of see some softening a little bit. So, you know, same thing is going to happen here. You see this line right here in the month of June starting to come down because it's a seasonal thing. So if you need to sell in the fall of this year, you really have to be very careful how you're going to be doing those things, because there's going to continue a rising inventory. As I said, buyers are going to have more choices, but also means there are probably going to be less buyers or qualified buyers in the marketplace. So my thing is, when these things come, sometimes you really have to be very careful. There will be a potential that home inspections will be back on the table as a negotiating thing. Seller concessions, helping buyers with closing costs, it could be potentially coming back on the market, because as less buyers are going to be there and more homes on the market, there is going to be more pressure on the prices. And that is potentially can be one price cut, maybe two price cuts, and then you still have to do some concessions. Let me know here in the comments right here if you have any plans of thinking about selling in the late summer, early fall. How would you feel about the strategy of pricing your house? Are you okay with giving some buyer some credit to the buyer towards closing costs? Do you rather take a price cut, one or two price cuts, before you even give any credits? Let me know in the comments below. So here's the next thing is, there's a small pool of buyers, and you're gonna say, well, but prices have going up, so what's going on? Well, here's why you're gonna have a small pool of buyers, because the interest rates are going to continue to be, as of today, interest rates are about 7%. And let's be honest, 7%, it's a pretty high number for somebody that has to pay. Here's the path, right? Houses listed at $400,000 or $450,000. These buyer has to compete. Maybe they have to pay 10% above asking price. So in this case, we use a $450,000. So maybe they'll be close to pay $495,000, now $500,000. That's number one. Number two, they probably have to let go some of the home inspections and contingencies, and maybe have to have some kind of like a gap appraisal thing in case the house doesn't appraise. So that means more money out of pocket. And if they don't do inspections, they can potentially be buying a house that is going to need a lot of work. So with all those things, the pool of buyers right now paying above asking price, no contingency, and having to do with repairs down the road, it is shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. So with that in mind, you will definitely have a lot more pressure because of that. Now, buyers out there, you really, especially if you're looking to buy into a bigger house, you really have to be very careful with the advice that you receive. I highly recommend that you need to speak with a loan officer as soon as possible. Don't leave it like until like, well, if I find a house that I like, I will go ahead and buy it and speak with the lender. No, you need to do the math right now, because interest rates are changing. Things in the marketplace are going to be changing. Hopefully prices will cool down for you and you'll be able to get what you want. But this is very important. And, you know, remember that old saying, like, date the rate and marry the house, something along those lines? Well, I mean, you know, there's no such thing as dating a rate. Rate is a rate, and you know, you married to the house, sure, but the rate is a rate, and you got to be careful with that. And you know, the chances of the interest rates going down anytime soon are not in the horizon. Maybe just by slightly, but not by a lot. So another big thing here is going to be that low experienced agents are going to have a hard time coaching sellers when it comes to pricing properties. And there's going to be a lot, there is a lot of agents out there that have not even sold 4 or 5 units this year. And I think that's really going to have a big impact, because these sellers are going to go with people that offer low commissions to sell their homes. And after 30, 60, 90 days, these agents will not know what to do. Sellers will become frustrated with these realtors, and the house most likely going to get expired. And warning sellers, you will receive calls from other realtors that know how to price houses. So why would you want to go through this whole thing right now and waste 90 days to 120 days just to find out that you hired the wrong person? You need to start looking into it right now. Hire the professionals, people that have been in down markets. Let me give you a bonus. If you are a seller right here listening to this video, is you need to ask this person, says, how many years have you been doing real estate? And were you in business when the 2008 market meltdown came, and how did you survive? What was your strategy? That's it. Just ask those things and you get a lot of data out of that. Now, we've been talking about a lot of things, right? And this is good stuff. So we're coming to the end, but I want to give you some bonuses here. China's housing market crash intensifies. Not that really China has anything to do with us, right? And they're buying all this land in the United States. Well, their ongoing crisis plaguing China's once booming housing sector is not showing signs of relenting, as the latest government data shows that home prices in May fell even faster than months before. New home prices in 70 Chinese cities, excluding state subsidized housing, fell by 0.71%. Okay, China, it's now in the mix, and this is a big thing that we have to take consideration. So we have now Canada, and we now have China. I'm wondering who's next. Are we going to be the next one? Let me know here in the comments if United States may be the next one to follow this thing. And then some US market insights here that I'll leave, and I promise this is the last one. So we haven't hit the same crisis level in the 30-year mortgage. However, issues like high consumer debt and rising refinance applications indicate there is a little bit of a problem. Yeah, I mean, let's just be honest, right? Everything is more expensive, everything is more difficult, and I think people are definitely not knowing what to do when it comes to their expenses. Look at this article that I came across. It says overdue credit card debt is the highest it's been in more than a decade. Here's what to do if you are at risk. Okay, I'll leave a comment. I'll leave this link here for you to see it. But the reality is that we haven't seen these kind of like issues so spiking more, mortgage delinquencies, people carrying like very high balances in their credit cards, softening Canada economy when it comes to their housing. So it is in China. So all these things are for you to really take into consideration. I don't want you to panic. I don't want you to be afraid of anything. I'm not here to sell fear. I am here to sell information. The more you educate yourself, the better informed you are, the better of the decisions that you're going to make. So if you're really looking to start the process of buying a house, you might want to watch this video a little bit, just that you kind of have an idea what you need to do. So I have come to the end of this video. Sorry, it's been a bit longer than ever, but this topic is something that is trending right now, and I want to make sure I cover it from all different angles. Please do me a big favor, and if you like this type of content, please smash that button says I like it. And if you want to see more of this content every week, you can subscribe and follow me. I'm Robert Garcia, local real estate agent here in Montgomery County, Maryland, licensed in Maryland, DC, and Virginia. Enough about selling, okay? Not selling anything. If you need to have a conversation, consultation, feel free to schedule something in my Zoom call, video call there, and we can talk. Have a great day. I see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.